Yo, sup shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands. And welcome to an SB Livestreams $5 Song Quests number 49. It is number 49 today. I should step back from the microphone a little bit. This is the live stream 49 of these $5 song requests, where for just $5 you can get a song reviewed via through Ko-fi. Go through the commissions tab, link in the description. You can get a song reviewed that is on YouTube or on Spotify or on SoundCloud, wherever you like. We're here. Hopefully you're having a great today if you're watching this. It's Monday here in New Zealand. It's a rainy day outside. It's good to be inside, although it seems to be kind of calming itself down a little bit now. If you can see this, please let me know. It's saying it's live, and I assume that it wouldn't be live if it was, unless it said it would. You know what I mean? Like, I assume it's probably live. This is what it's like to be a streamer who's not super duper like doing super well, is that you never know whether people can see it or not, or if they're lurking and stuff. It must be kind of wild. It must be kind of wild to be one of those streamers who they have like an audience that just turns up immediately, and they're there for it. And to be fair, I think I was a few minutes late today. I started at 12:15. Which was the time that it was meant to start. OBS would not connect. OBS, the software I use, would not connect. It thinks I'm saying obvious. And I checked the internet, and it was like 5 megs per second, which is not ideal. It's not ideal for video stuff. And then I reset the router, and it went back up to 500. So we've definitely got internet now. So yeah, I suppose if we go into chat time, we go over to here, and what we can do is we can just check out the music news. We can just check out the music news like we usually do. I am keeping an eye on Ko-fi. Ko-fi is saying that the commissions are open. So if you are wanting to place a commission, you should be able to do it via the link in the description. Village People founder doubles down on letting Trump using YMCA slams gay anthem label. Yeah, that sounds like something you wouldn't want to be involved with. I mean, that's not ideal at all. That's not ideal at all, is it? It's not ideal at all. Flavor of Flav shares thoughts on Chappelle Rowan speaking out on fan interactions. Says it's one of the biggest mistakes. So this is an exclusive. Apparently. I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. This is commissions, right? I feel like people are doing it on purpose now. Is it a... Guys, you can we please go through the commissions page? Can we please go through the commissions page for... I feel like people are doing it on purpose. Why are we going through the Ko-fi page? You just go through... You go through the commissions tab in the description. I think I'm just going to have to probably give up on this. In the sense that I think I'm probably just going to have to... I don't know why I get upset. It's not like... Because Jerry Huang, I appreciate the donation, and I'm happy to review it for you, but it just frustrates me that people do not go through the commission tab. I wish people would go through the commission tab for these requests. Please go through the commissions tab. Please do not do a general donation. They don't show up in my queue. I could miss your request. I don't want to miss people's requests. Okay. Anyways, but moving on. Thank you to Jerry Huang for putting us through. Because I don't want to make it seem like I'm ungrateful. It's just I've already said it. I just wish people would go through the requests tab so that there's no risk of me missing someone's request and being like, why didn't mine go and get done? Anyways, apparently this is the live version of Toyo Lo Tayo East Wind. Let's do it. This should be good. I am keen to review some music today, as per the purpose of this live stream. Let's see what we've got. All right, let's do it. Thank you to Jerry for this request. Very It's just great use of the entire drum. And that's not the song? So what kind of drums are those? Because I'm familiar with taiko drums. I like taiko drums. I think that taiko drums are really dope, and I would like to get some next year. I'm wondering what kind of drums those are. A fascinating introduction to their work. It's just like such a phenomenally huge sound to everything. Part of that is the arrangement of the various different percussive elements, the bass, the guitars, the strings, the vocalists, and just, you know, there's so much love put into the track. And we've still got those main drums going in the background. That's really cool. Because that's like a unison harmony with the strings and the lead guitars, right? That was fantastic. So that was, as I understand it, according to Jerry Huang, the live version of Lo Tao's East Wind. I think that this track was really well thought out and well presented. It's a song, I'm not quite sure what it's about because I don't understand the language natively, but I still feel like this was a song that had a passionate message, and in part because of the fact that there was just such intensity and glory coming from the vocal performances. The main singer that came in after the sort of taikoish kind of drum implementations there took the stage and was the forefront and the focal point of the mix. I enjoyed hearing the texture and tone of voice there. There was some interesting A/B sides to the structure that were reflected in the way we phrased ourselves melodically, and it was just really cool, man. I just like the vocal technique, control the hidden chest voice and stuff. And the backing vocalists on the side were fantastically supportive in that mid to high range there, notched neatly in the frequency spectrum and stereo field. And yeah, there was some interesting legato stuff going on. There was more melodic as opposed to a spoken word that suited the strings and guitar parts and other elements really neatly. The track at 4 minutes 59 is incredibly well structured. It's really interesting. You had the ladies on the different drums playing their parts earlier on with lots of different 8th quarters, 16th grooves there, some offbeat stuff, some differentiations and splitting up the meters to make things a bit more sort of entrancing. And you really didn't know what you were getting yourself into. It was almost like an introduction to the rest of the band, and that was done really effectively. The song then kind of cascades into, well, it kind of grows, should I say, into this massive situation going on with the studio production. No, not the studio production, should I say, just the guitars, the bass, the strings, the keys, everything. It was wonderful. I'm kind of having a look here. Oh, guys, just realized that I didn't have the right chat. So this is actually what you guys have been talking about. I'm really sorry about this. Okay, so you're here, Jerry Huang. It's all right. Here we go. So this is where you guys are. Cool. It's not good, is it? So that's done there. Why does this not go up? Hi, Jerry Huang. Thanks for your request. I appreciate that. I literally haven't seen that you guys have been talking. Sup, Ty Havard. Welcome to the live stream, and sup, Aroused Pineapple. Welcome to the live stream, as well as Jerry Huang. Now that I'm up to date with who is here, because of the fact that YouTube has now told me that people are in the live stream. Sorry. just found these messages. Hi, Pasitnik? Pakitnik. I'm not sure how to say that one, but welcome to the live stream. Now that we have our messages and we're all good to go, just continuing this, I think the use of the distorted guitars with their their power chord and sort of leady elements there, harmonizing occasionally neatly with what the strings are doing in their melodies and the cool responses they have with the vocals and their breaks is fantastic. And I like the way that there was kind of plucks there as well from the strings, which were a nice contrast to those legato parts and the melodies they were doing. And just the unit, how tight the performance was in those staccato-ish bits was just really impressive. I really enjoyed the way that things were handled in terms of the drums outside of the taiko drums. The way they were, the thing that I enjoyed about it most is that there was just that sort of like attention to the similar groove that those drums had. And we were exploring the drum kit really neatly, but not to a point where we tried to sort of be dominant over those existing parts. The bass lines were sort of following the root notes, and I think there might have been some other sort of orchestral elements within the mix as well. They were more sort of sub sort of layers, but ultimately those things combined led to a track that almost seemed like we were discussing something otherworldly, a bigger concept than the sum of the parts. And it was a beautiful sounding track there that I think if you understood the language, you'd definitely get a lot more sort of like mileage out of. But I still enjoyed listening to it and I had a great time with it. And yeah, nothing but love for everyone involved. The performances were solid, and it's just the it's the majesty of the way things were performed that makes me think it was a bigger journey than that. We had like majors and minors and stuff like that, but there are all these different chord progressions and like transfers between parts, and it didn't just stick to it just this consistent 4/4 metering with 4 bars, 4 bits each time. There was that unpredictability there that made it more interesting. But the studio recording, mixing, and mastering was well handled. I'm really happy with the clarity of the vocals, both main and side of the mix, as well as the guitars, the drums, the bass, all the different types of percussion there and the strings and all that. And just a really satisfying effort track to listen to. Thank you to Jerry Huang for sending that through. Now that we're actually on top of things and understand what we're doing, I think we're good to go. But I will thank Jerry Huang on Ko-fi. Thank you for request. There we are. Cool. So, with that chaos out of the way, what do we have next? We have a commission from Nick P. Oh, those are called Tangu. Right, I just found this message. Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate that. So the drums were Tangu. They weren't taiko drums. Cheers. Appreciate that. And the lyrics information is also kind of abstract in Chinese. Good to know. Good stuff in saying upcoming reactions so we know from YouTube when you go online. Cool. Yeah, you're welcome. I got told to cue them, so I did. This is Nick P, lol. Okay, let's go, Nick P. What have you put through, man? Details. Hey, testimony from Apocalypse. Cool. Cool. Let's do that then. All right. Let's go. So this is an original, isn't it? I've reviewed Testimony of Apocalypse before. It'd be good to hear more. Okay, very different than the previous track. Yeah, Darren Johnson vocals. I mean, there's definitely dynamic range. Sup, Jacob? Welcome to the live stream. Sup, Jacob? Welcome to the live stream. There we go. Cool. Lamb of God kind of vibes. Their vocal fry must be difficult to do. Ah, that tension. More development there instrumentally. Delivered from their eyes are open, seeing the vanity. Okay, that was really cool. There was a lot of positives about that one. That was Testimony of Apocalypse with Heretic and the Adversary, which is from the 2023 album The Offering. Now, with featuring Darren Johnson on vocals. Now, I think Nick Pacitti, if I'm not mistaken, was rhythm guitars and vocals as well. Spiderhands Productions, did you ever review the band Broken by the Scream? No. And honestly, if there is a song that you are wondering whether or not I reviewed it, it's probably worth putting it through anyway, as there are just so many songs. There are just so many songs, you know, so feel free to submit. You don't have to. You can just hang out. But if you do want to submit a track, I'll definitely review it. And if I have, then it'll probably be good to hear it again. Probably. So I'm really happy with the way things are done in general with the song. As an original, it's very strong. Within the genre, it sounds like it's commercial grade. And I mean that sincerely. The track, as I understand it, is potentially about sort of fighting off people who are trying to maybe change the way that you think about things and trying to strengthen that belief system so that you don't become overwhelmed or disillusioned by things. I think that's it. The Adversary. I'm not sure if the Heretic and the Adversary are like... They're clearly having this sort of in war, and it's a song about faith and everything like that. And that's basically my take on it without going down a rabbit hole and confusing myself. But I think that the vocals within this, the growls and screams are par for the course of the genre, and they're handled well. The technique sounds healthy. The clean vocals in the chorus are well handled as well. I like the musicality of that. It's great to have a bit more sort of color in some parts to contrast. I think there was enough room within the arrangement for that to occur. I feel like our head and chest voice and delivery in general and the variety of different expressions they were appropriate to the subject matter we were discussing, and just really good stuff. Really good stuff. I think that the track itself at 3 minutes 34 comprised of different verses and choruses and different instrumental sections, predominantly guitar solo parts, with the first and the second more intense one later on, is really well handled there. I mean, like, if I go through a few of the different instrumental parts I appreciate, I suppose what I appreciate most about it is the variety of different rhythm parts. You know, the lead guitars, they were very elegant, and they had a lot of, they have a lot of push in their mid to high range there. And when they were slow, they were a bit more sort of like sleek. When they were faster, that kind of flush and flurry and color, as well as when the cleaner vocals came on, was appreciated. And it was a nice contrast to some of the harsher elements with the distorted guitars and everything like that. Bearing in mind, I do like my chug guitars. I am also glad that we didn't just have the palm mutes and stuff like that. We also had these different melodic sort of single string stuff going on there. We had lots of various different guitar riffs that were effective, transferred cleanly, and were a nice thing to have on top of the bass line, which was typically very sort of supportive of that, regardless of what we went for. I think that the drums, with a variety of different patterns there, exploring the kit thoroughly with the, like if I go to a few different parts here, we had like a variety. Like, I was just confirming there was double kick. I was pretty like 99% sure. I like the use of the double kick both when it occurred and when it didn't, because we were kind of pocketing when we needed to, going between like halftime and normal time parts as well, which is really great. We understood that the percussion, whilst we could clearly play the kit really well, needed to suit the mood of the things really around us, and that understanding and chemistry is evident across the board with this band. With DJ on top, handling storytelling, the theme does represent with the harshness of a lot of those sort of major minor chords, the diminished sort of like triads. We had occasionally just the chromaticisms involved, which sound a bit more sort of devious and unsettling. It did indicate that this track was discussing a struggle of some kind. The tension, the way we'd occasionally sort of repeat parts like we're on loop and loop and loop and loop, and then came the release, built tension. We understood not just the fundamentals, but how to go beyond that. And I think within the genre and thematically, it made a lot of sense. And I don't think it was a note out of place. The studio recording, mixing, and mastering was tight. Vocals well handled, present in the mix. They're not overproduced. The guitars, bass, drums, and everything like that well leveled within a free spectrum and stereo field. Nice and loud without pumping. Bass compression handled. And yeah. And thank you to Nick for sending that through. Packet Nick Pacitti. Nick Pacitti, if I'm not mispronouncing that. Apologies if I am. You're welcome. Glad you enjoy the reviews, man. That is done. Thank you, Aroused Pineapple. I appreciate it. And thank you to Ty for your request. Appreciate that. What have we got next? We've got two. We've got Katana and Protector with the next one. What is your request, my dude? Well, is it another original track? If you thought my previous songs were progressive, wait until you hear this. There is an awesome movie in the 90s with a young Christina Applegate called Vibrations. The story is a rocker loses his arms and gets cyber-implanted arms and becomes a rave DJ, changes his musical path due to it. That's awesome. That's awesome, dude. I'm excited for this. What have we got here? There we are. Whoa, okay, so that's quite loud. I don't have an issue with it. I'm just going to take this stuff over. It doesn't give me a credits. Gotta put this here. Katana and Protector. But yeah, we should be able to get into this track just in a moment. Thanks for the requests so far, and hopefully everyone watching this is having a good day today. No. Cool, let's go, let's do it. What do we got from Katana and Protector?
This is where it all happens. So, you know anything about techno?
No. Watch.
And Katana and Protector. Hey, Jacob, I might check out Blood Incantation too when I get the chance. Seems cool.
Katana and Protector.
Oh, cool.
See, the idea is to get the vibe going. Then you maintain the vibe with a trance-producing bass and the right lights.
Again, just the polish is evident.
Just when you think we're in galactic ecstasy, we go acid. Let's go!
Probably one of my favorites, to be honest. I just love the sound, way the different things come together.
Now we get serious. See, we're going on a psychotically calibrated, electronically executed, digitally compressed, cosmic screening journey to sonic grooviness. The world is coming to an end, but we don't care. Because we're moontan nocturnal, vinyl-consuming animals drifting easy through friendly space and analog trance.
And the panning of those
Nothing
synths on the
can
side,
do
dude.
this groove. We're controlling the vibe, manipulating the madness, sucking in the energy. Our cosmic nerve endings are telling us how to move, what to do, where to go, and then we know. Dance time. Let's go.
And just to use the space here to give us a kind of a respite in the middle is just awesome. Get that out up there. Yeah, no, it's fantastic. It's a really complicated track, but it's well produced. And just the tape at the end. No, well done. So this is a very this is really tight. Do you know techno? Trying to impress girls at house parties, live mixing around the early, yeah, tape record ending. Well done. Really, really satisfied with it. It was a journey. I think the song, as we spoke about, is it's about someone sort of talking about their love for techno and kind of showing all the different sort of vibes and aesthetics and establishing like that party kind of thing that we were talking about earlier. And I think that as an advertisement for techno and what it can be like and all the different colors and shades that are involved, it's incredibly effective. I like the fact that there was a foley of like the tape recorders and you could hear the crowd around you that was filtered and that you had the vocal samples and stuff from the movie and all that. And I dig the fact that we were able to put them in there in a way that was so seamless, integrating the stuff from that movie, if I'm not mistaken, into the song with all those other sort of more modern synthetic elements there that unless you really knew what you're doing might not necessarily work well together. They might not sound as cohesive. Um, yeah, really, really satisfying. I think that the way that, you can't really grade the vocals because they were more sort of like relevant to the journey we had, but I think that they were appropriate for the song. So that was really, really positive. Um, the actual track itself, as mentioned, I think, from Aroused Pineapple, and kind of this is more of a journey song where you don't have a specific ABAB kind of contemporary thing. It's through composed. And I think that that is something that's been in a few things that Katana and Protector have shown over the last bit. And I like the fact that we are allowing ourselves to do that and we don't feel kind of notched into the concept of having the verse, the build, drop, verse, build, drop. Because it's in so much electronic dance music nowadays that it has almost made it kind of boring, to be honest, in certain respects. Like, I like my dubstep, but dubstep, man, it's just, just verse. And now it's just so attention deficit that you just have a little bit instant drop down. And it's like 2 minutes because they're afraid that if they don't have, they'll start being pounded by stuff. Just near instantly, they're going to switch off. I really appreciate when musicians can take the time to develop an idea and give the listener a bit more credit. I mean, if we talk about a few of the main elements within this, I suppose the main elements were the sort of more atmospheric elements. Like part of those were simply caused by the filtering of bits to sort of make them seem a bit more old school, kind of taking a bit of the higher end off to make it seem a bit more sort of like it's going through a different speaker or something like that. The way that these pads were used to sort of either as a sub layer to instill a sense of an environment within it that would suit the techno thing, or they were more sort of like present and they would support those main melodies and bass lines, but not in the way where they were trying to be too dominant. Just the use of the panning is great here and the positioning within the stereo field. The synth leads there. I think part of the reason why I'm being sort of careful is because there were just so many ideas here that trying to list all of them would be exhaustive, and not in a way where I would dislike it. It's just you'd have to really kind of go, okay, between 0 and 30 seconds, there was this much here. And then we're putting even more in that next half. And again, it's more of a chapter-based thing where you have one flavor of it and then another. And that's part of how the beauty of through composed stuff is it works like that. It benefits from it not being predictable. The drums with the various different rhythms on there, the quarters, eighths, and sixteenths, made a lot of sense there. And sometimes we didn't have drums at all. Sometimes we barely had any instrumentation at all, and that dynamic range was fantastic because it allowed us to think. Sometimes it was just synths. Like I think there was just this middle section here where it's just like a synth sequency with a little sort of bass underneath that had that kind of 80s aesthetic or style there. So it suited like the kind of references maybe made in the old school textures of the song. But then it also allowed to kind of float. And that's something that has been in other tracks from Katana and Protector, is that they don't just like to have the drums all the time. They let there be variety there and intensity. The bass lines, even if we had chromatics or whatever, I think part of what made these songs work is that they typically try to avoid. Sometimes you'll get songs that try and add sort of harsh textures or edges or chromatics to sort of like inflict a feeling or sense of it. But I think the track deliberately played within key signatures and scales in order to sound more kind of upbeat and positive and pleasant. And if there were any shifts like that, they were meant to sort of hype things up or build. And that's basically my comments on it. There was just a phenomenal amount of really interesting sounds where they performed very similar functionalities. But again, with synths, there's just infinite possibilities with the tones and textures. And again, there would have been dozens of different types of synths and tracks within this. I can imagine the actual production, like the actual layout within the digital audio workstation, would have been quite chaotic. But as you've said, I understand. I think it deserves airplay, like legitimately. It's really cool stuff. Sometimes I just need to get music out of me or it almost hurts. I produce a lot. That is working out. Because to me, I mean, like, I just think it's just there's so much music. But the music that you make sounds really fantastic. It's just complicated. So I think some people might listen to it and not be able to sort of absorb it because there's a lot. But also music doesn't revolve around a listener. It revolves around the relationship between the listener and the person playing it. This is just really cool. So I feel like I've explained it, but also potentially over-explained it. So I'm going to move on to the main theme again. It's just the different aspects, is the chapters of representing the different types of techno and electronic music to kind of sort of get someone into it. And then finally, the studio production is commercial grade. The clarity of the different synths, vocals, basses, drums, the vocal fall, the tape measure, everything is damn near flawless. Sensational stuff. I don't hear a difference between this and the stuff that comes out from the major labels. Genuinely, I don't. So thank you to Katana and Protector for putting this track forward. I really appreciate being able to listen to it. And I wish you the best of luck with your future endeavors in music. It's good times. Good times. Ah, goodness. I felt like I gave birth to an opinion then. And it was a weird feeling, you know? Maybe a bit too TMI, but... yeah. We got Ty Harvard next. I find often it's so different producing and making a musician listen to things than someone who just doesn't know. If you do it for a musician, they can go and understand you play with scales, while over a GDM listener just gets surprised the theme isn't whistleable or repeated. That's fair. That's fair. What is Ty Havard? I hope you keep it up, though, Arouse Pineapple. I really do, because you've got some really special stuff there, man. I feel like the commercialization of music is potentially at least negatively affected creativity in a way that I don't think is actually reparable. I think it, yeah. But that's just me potentially over-dramatizing it. I don't know. But this is from Ty Havard. Thank you for your request, Ty. This is Broken by the Scream, Sayonara Birthday. Oh. What? What the actual... Sorry to interrupt. This is the only comment I'm going to make, because I feel like I'm not going to get a chance to pause otherwise. This is dopamine. This is attention deficit like times 2000. This is like, it's every little neuron like lit up for me. I feel like I'm drinking water for the first time in a year. This is wild, dude. What is this? I think that's the genuine, like one of the most genuine reactions that I've had, like, all year. That would be like top 10, like I actually reacted to something I was listening to. Because people say I do reactions. I don't really react. I just kind of go, okay. That's the closest you're getting to a reaction, like a lot of reaction channels where they like that, you know, I was stun locked. I just okay. Let's talk about this. So, "Broken by the Scream," "Sayonara Birthday" is one of my favorite songs ever. It is honestly like in my probably top 20, because it's just so different. I don't care. Like part of me is like wondering what the intention of this band was. It makes me angry because I see that comments are turned off. And I swear it, man, if people were giving this band a hard time because they thought that they weren't legit, or they just had, I hate the fact that the internet is based on opinions. I hate the fact that the internet, that careers can be made based on YouTube comments. I hate it. Because this is just, they're such phenomenal musicians. Utterly insane. I don't know what the song was about apart from Happy Birthday or that they're going to say goodbye on their birthday. It is truly a unique experience. I think that, you know, what's going on with the actual vocals from the clean parts were great. They were using similar vocal melodies when the clean parts, so it does seem like it was more of a this is a girl band that look at us kind of sing kind of vibe, but they can both sing well. The higher vocals from Kagura were tremendous. The black metal aesthetic was strong there, and they were a nice contrast. And the low growls from Io. Yeah, you may not feel or believe that it's possible for someone to sing like that, but it is. It's possible for a woman to go that low. There are some women who are basses. There's just that kind of technique is also more sort of related to how you modulate your parts in all this area. And so I think they just found someone who could do the low parts and someone who could do the high parts, and then they brought them together and had honestly one of the most breathtakingly original vocal performances I have heard in modern metal. I think that this track itself with the guitar, bass, and drums, were there some synths in there as well? I kind of got the feeling that there might have been some synthesizers as well, but I'm not sure. My brain is saying that there might have been some synths to go alongside the guitar parts. They were incredibly colorful guitar parts when they wanted to be, but a lot of it was like low kind of chug-chugs and like kind of frenetic, like lower sort of like rhythm riffs there. The lead playing, when they'd get up into that mid and high register, was just absolutely batshit. Like that is some of the wildest, wackiest tapping, sweepy stuff. It's just too much. It's just too much for my brain to handle. It was like, again, it's just so quick. It is so intense. And he finishes that solo section so cleanly near the end that it's just a masterstroke. But you see, the guitarist, like, they had some different riffs and concepts in there, but the vocals are the focal point. But when there was that solo there, just tremendous. Just tremendous. And I feel like there's nothing that you could have done like that. That is flawless guitar playing. The bass player kind of rolling with but it's also the kind of genty stuff. We had like there was some genty kind of halftime-ish riffs and playing around with different type signatures and stuff as well, which were really dope. We didn't just kind of phone it in with like the 4/4 the entire time. We played around with expectations and involved a lot of different genres that I think sort of pair quite well together, especially when you have the range within your vocal parts, for example, to be able to do that. I just liked what the bass guitarist was doing though, with keeping up with the drums and the guitars. Comfortable in their range, going up a little bit when they needed to, but typically sort of like more supportive in the root notes, unless there was some kind of octave or slapping part that I missed. I think there was some slapping that was going on in some of those genty-ish parts, but that's fine. The drums were just absolutely just ridiculous. The guy was a metronome. The guy was a drum machine. Literally, I don't think I've heard a cleaner drum performance than that. That performance on the kit was just absolutely just brutal. It would have been so hard, and they're so polished. And if they ever lose that drummer, that's the end of the band. You could replace. Controversial take. If you replace, just replace him with like a, I don't know, a digital audio workstation or like a metronome, and that's as close as you're gonna get to that drummer. They're just an absolute just beast. Lots of different interesting eighths, grooves with the various tempos there. But those blast beats and the double kicks, were just machine gun parts. Would just blew you up, The theme itself, I don't quite know how to explain the theme there. It's more kind of like catchy part. Oh, this is a different idea. This is a different concept. I think they were more so sort of going for we like these different styles of music approach as opposed to an overall theme to this track. So transitionally, I think it was tight, but I also don't think that they wanted to overcomplicate it by trying to connect them. Like they transferred neatly. It's just, it's an interesting kind of like movement there. Typically down tune minor key part. Not a happy time, but hella catchy hook line when we got to that chorus though. Just the way that everything came together and was just super high octane was just really pleasurable. And again, hit all the dopamine receptors, man. hit all the dopamine receptors. My captions are having a tough time at the moment. But yeah, studio recording, mixing, mastering is commercial grade. No complaints about it at all. Dynamic range, surprisingly, considering how loud it was, but also the vocals, whether they were growled or clean, work came through neatly. The guitar, bass, and drums were tight as well. Double track leads were fine, synth maybe as well, but ultimately just incredibly satisfying time. It broke my brain a little bit, but I think I've recovered. Thank you to Ty for putting this track through for Broken by the Scream, titled Sayonara Birthday. I would like to hear more of them in future. I'm glad that they have the comments on in other videos. I'm glad that they have mostly positive comments. I don't expect them to be massively huge. I think a lot of people, especially those who are into metal, especially the older metalheads, might be a little bit kind of like, oh, it's not Iron Maiden, so I don't like it. You know, so it's fucking whatever, man. But like, yeah, I appreciate what they're trying to accomplish here. I think it's really positive. The guitarist writes the music. The guitarist is just absolute. Just I don't know what the guitarist is doing, but they deserve a raise. Anyways, yeah, we're probably gonna do one from Jacob Good because Jacob has put through a track. Yay! What's Jacob got for us today? So this is going to be very different again. So we've got Jacob here. This is not a high octane, super intense metal track. We have, as far as I'm aware, upcoming iLock Cloud update. Stop it. Stop telling me that I need to be worried about it. I hate iLock. I hate it. Go away. iLock is what I have for my licenses, for my plugins, and it's just like, oh, I'm just gonna update because I'm a fucking idiot. One more request. Yeah, but I probably will need to close the queue soon as I have to get a review done before I have work. So I'll probably close the queue after the song. Okay? And remembering, say it with me, if the queue is closed, that means I can't do more requests, even via the main page. So thank you. Thank you for the requests today. I appreciate it. Let's do this track for Jacob. Apparently, the most Disney-esque duet as it was made for a stage production of a very popular play that Jackie produced. Let's go. Thank you.
诺言已不必，这一生只要有你，什么都愿意。有欢笑，有哭泣，一切变成甜蜜。
Oh, that hi-hat was so clean.
狂风和四季。 我想温暖的摇曳，永远抱紧你。我的心从未曾犹豫。
Oh, that chord is amazing.
全部献给你。我和你相守像一阵爱生死。 穿过北和西，跨过天和地，我和你永不分离，千千万万世纪，无边无际。爱是永恒，因为爱是你。
It's so beautiful, man. It's such a beautiful song, dude. Thank you for sharing. So just to clarify, the singer here is Cynthia Ko. I've just translated it. I think that's correct, if I'm not mistaken. Great layering with the backing vocals. Oh, the storm foley as well, dude. The rain. That gave me chills. They even got the guitar solo. So this was sorry, I'll get back from the mic a bit. That was probably a bit loud. So this is a track from an act named Jackie Chung and Cynthia Ko, a duet titled Love is Eternal. So I assume it is about love being eternal, if I'm not mistaken. The love that they have with each other will continue throughout time. And I think that's how they come together at the end, is they have their own perspectives. And then invariably, yeah, it just gets to a point where they celebrate that together. It's delicate and it's it's intimate and there's a bit of fragility there, but in a way which is a positive thing. They're opening up to each other. It is very pleasant, Jacob. You're absolutely right. I had a fantastic time listening to it. It's a wonderful performance from both Jackie Chung and Cynthia Ko. They had it's what I like about it is that they both seem comfortable in their vocal range. So they were clearly, the arrangement was meant to sort of work around them as well. They never felt like they expressed themselves eloquently and effectively, but it just seemed effortless for them both. And the way they not only had their own parts in this track, and they worked well with the surrounding arrangement, the various harmonies and little twists and turns there, especially as things continued to grow. But just the way they came together and sweetly harmonized with those thirds was just tremendous, dude. The dynamic range of the performance as well was delicate, but believable, authentic. And it's tremendous, dude. The track is complicated. It's a complicated song. It's like more of a ballad format. If I go back to the beginning, yeah, because part of my brain sometimes goes, was there a piano at the start? And clearly there is a piano at the start. Most ballads have a piano at the start, but I risk one day assuming there is when it isn't. So what I appreciate is that you can vividly imagine Jackie next to the keys with him telling his story, and it starts so small, and the keys on the right hand are panned so that they are not interfering with Jackie in the middle. And I like the fact that the music surrounds you immediately and instantly from the get-go. They're not wanting you to have to wait till the end of time to be able to get it sort of starting to surround you. There are a lot of different instruments within this track. There are string sections, there are basses and guitars and pianos and drums and all that kind of stuff. And as we go through it, You have the bell trees as well, which provide a nice sort of back and right, a fantastic transitional device that is used several times. I think the guitar is mostly used as sort of a rhythmic device there, apart from that solo section at the end there, which is just the icing on the cake. You know that I love my guitar solos, but I don't expect them to be there in a lot of tracks like this. I don't expect there to be guitar solos because you already have several leads which are more than competent at establishing themselves as the focal point within a mix. And when the parts such as the strings are just so gorgeous there with their legato feel floating and kind of flying over everything else going on with those drums there, those orchestral elements. The drums of the eighth. How are the drums going in this? So they were very sort of subtle for a lot of it. I think they did pick up later on, but you had simply hi-hat closes and like rim shots, etc. there. The drummer knew when to sort of pocket. And I think, to be fair, the drummer did pocket throughout. There was no point, there was no point where the drummer suddenly went into a solo like with the previous track where it was just really kind of wild. The drummer pocketed, the bass was sticking with the root notes for most of it. The strings filled up that mid-range and were a nice smooth element to the held keys on the piano. The guitar lead later on was a fantastic foil for those vocal parts. I think that the overall theme, with all the different flurries, kind of endeavors towards a feeling of like there is a sense of hope and optimism around the situation. There is a bit of it's a very gentle track throughout. Nothing ever becomes too dangerous. Like there is the foley of the storm and the rain and everything in that interlude section, but you get the feeling it's simply a stormy period that once they get past that, things are going to get better and they're going to make that out of them, the both of them together. Maybe it was someone was going through the rain to get to the other person. They realized how much they needed to be with each other, and that being communicated with the foley is just a masterstroke. And I like that they included it in here. It makes sense. So, yeah, it's a complicated piece there. Lots of little twists and not lots of little twists and turns. It's more sort of like easy to follow, but just again the drama with those bum 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 bum, those triplets there. Just the way it kind of goes into the foley there, really kind of like ascends and just that makes the most of that dynamic range going up to the ceiling is just tremendous there. It becomes less of a ballad at that point and more of a kind of an experience. And then that relief when you go back down for Jackie at the end, when you get through that storm, is just absolutely sensational. The studio recording, mixing, and mastering is incredible. The clarity of everything in the mix, the guitars, bass, drums, piano, the vocals from Jackie Chung and Cynthia Ko, even like the panning of the bell trees and all that from left to right there, the use of the foley surrounding you in the headphones, it's just fantastically handled, and it's nice and loud when it needs to be, but it's also tender, so there's dynamic range. And I'm really glad I had the chance to listen to us. Thank you, Jacob, for this request. I appreciate it. I have been asked to check out more, and this is from a play that Jackie produced. So they not only nailed the play, they also nailed the music. It's unsurprising that they did so. But yeah, no, that was cool. Really cool, man. Really cool. But thank you to Jacob for this. Cool. I am going to just double check where we're at with that. I think we've got 2 to go. Here we are. I am actually going to queue is closed. I'm actually going to close the queue. Queue is, oh no, come on, brother. Why is that weird? It usually doesn't look that big. Can I go like that? There we go. So I guess 270 is the one we need to be. But yeah, what have we got next? We have got Chromino next. Thank you to Chromino for your request here. Thanks. Queue's a hard word, man. Queue is a hard word. See, this thing doesn't know what I mean by a queue. Oh, no, it does. Never mind. It's a good sign when people who like metal are happy to Disney it up. Much better to be self-assured than annoying elitist. It should just be a queue, absolutely. So yeah, the commissions. So the queue now is closed. There we are. So we've got 2 more to go from Chromino, as mentioned. So what has Chromino got for us today? This is Neon Light, Templine featuring Doto Hoshimiya. So apparently this is good garage and chord work. Thank you to Chromino for this. It'll be good to check it out. Let's go. And there we go here. Oh, there we are. Oh, this is fun, man. Hey, these are some very more old school vibes that I dig it. Great key change. What you want to do is have a listen through that part from like 2:45 to 3 through headphones, because the way that they incorporate those guitar parts on the side as well as the drums, like the panning is just intense, dude. Oh, and the class extended chord there at the end. How much stuff did they include in that last 10 seconds? Cymbal shimmer, strings going on at the end. Dude, they can't even have a simple outro. They've got to have like 3 different things occur in sequence. It's just amazing. It's such like... It's similar to kind of what we had with that track, the Sayonara Birthday one. But it's a lot less aggressive. Don't worry, I'm not bored. It's been a hell of a week. Not in a bad way, but I won't get into it. This was a track from an act named Templime. Hang on, let me see myself. Templime featuring Toto Hoshimiya. Hoshimiya, if I'm not mistaken. That was Neon Light, which is Chromono's request for today. Not sure what the track was about. I'm not as familiar with the language as I'd prefer to be. Alpha EP plus Sayonara Birthday collab win. Yeah, I feel like that would just be insanity with insanity, and you just get a really, really intriguing baby out of that, you know. The vocal performance, though, was honestly one of the more neutral parts of the track in terms of how it sounded. Like, it was sung well, and I appreciate the texture timbre of the voice within the mix. There was a nice softness and palatability that was fantastic to listen to, regardless of what was happening in this track. I think that like what's so cool about it is that there was like this breathiness in parts where it kind of flew off to the sides, the stereo field between transfers, and it just sounded so fresh with the way it was filtered as well. Solid vocal techniques. Was this kind of how are the vocals done with this? Was that I'm not sure how the vocals were done, but whatever way they were treated, it suited the mix and style really neatly. The instrumentation for me was the focal point though. Because even if you had a range of expression with the vocals that made it themselves the focal points, and even that was great, there was just so much stuff going on in the track otherwise. Like, it was mind-blowing how complex it was, but also how well it worked. Like, there were guitars and basses and acid basses, as Aroused Pineapple was talking about, and there was the raindrop sounds, and there was strings, and there was keys, and there was cymbal shimmers, and various drum kits, and various kind of basses, and various sort of synth leads. There would have been about a dozen instruments in there, in addition to what was going on with the vocals. And they were all done in a part where there was just, this mix was as tight as possible. Like, post-production wise, we haven't gotten there yet. They were squeezing it. There was like, I don't know how little dynamic range it had, but what was so masterful about it? What was so masterful about the song is that dynamic range, and both was and wasn't necessary. You appreciated at the end after that big adventure that things came down again with just a really classy extended chord there, the cymbal shimmers and then the strings playing it out there. You realize how intense the track has been. But there's no harsh edges instrumentally to it. Like, there are key changes and some chromatics in there and some bouncy, jazzy arpeggios. And there's things there that sort of take it away from being more of a sort of a basic, simplistic, major, minor sort of triodal kind of thing. But yeah, that just the way that we figured out what synth patterns and which part of the frequency spectrum worked, on top of which basses, on top of which sidechain kick, snare, and sort of cymbal patterns there. What some really cool offbeat hi-hats, should I mention? The hi-hat kind of riffs that we had there with that dance aesthetic with the chord note grooves was just awesome, man. It was so cool. I loved how the drums kept things moving, but also didn't overcomplicate the percussion as well. I feel like any of the sort of bouncy key parts there were meant to sort of solidify what was going on with the synth leads as a mid-range resonance. When things became a bit more sort of like simplistic compositionally, and you just had the drums in the middle, and then you had the guitars go from the side to that side, etc. Everything was sixteenths. That was like swing sixteenths with most of these instruments, and they just knew not only their fundamentals in music theory and composition, but also far beyond that. This is expert stuff. This is like if someone had knew all the different tricks of the trade and was just left in a room with unlimited amounts of resources just to do whatever the hell they wanted. And they made this houseish stuff that while it does incorporate a lot of elements and fundamentals of other parts, does still sound unique because of the way everything was put together. It's got a lot of soul to it. And the theme overall was kind of bouncing upbeat and positive. And Neon Light kind of sounded like a good vibes, happy days kind of almost retro aesthetic with some of the old school sounds that we had initially. Almost like we're celebrating the mixture of the older with the modern stuff. I don't think we're going for a mood here. I think it was just meant to sort of represent movement and sort of like the neon lights of like the inner city and stuff. And it was more sort of an aesthetic thing rather than trying to induce a feeling that you should feel musically. But it was a fun journey to go on. It was practically through composed. And the studio recording, mixing, mastering is commercial grade. You couldn't have improved it. I don't know how you could have improved the studio recording, mixing, mastering. It was damn near flawless. Like the way the vocals, all the instruments were niched. How did they do it? Wide in the stereo field, automation of panning and parts there as well to kind of move things around, and a classy ending to boot. That was my review of this track from an act named Templine featuring Toto Hoshimiya. This track titled Neon Light. Dude, it's a masterclass in this kind of stuff. Thank you to Kromino for putting this track through. I appreciate it. No complaints there at all, dude. So impressed with it, man. And then we have one more for today from Katana and Protector. Yeah, I vote for that as I think collaborations between musicians are always a fun time. It might not always be a net positive, such as, this may be a controversial statement, what happened with Metallica and Lou Reed. I have heard that was not good. This is a bit special also, more IDM than EDM. Katana and Protector started as a project to sort of combine synthwave with electro and bass house. We're still finding a style. I'll remake this to an extended version that doesn't feel as dramatic and quick switches, which I think will make it better. Cool. Let's do it, man. Let's go. Let's listen to this last track of today from Katana and Protector, titled What Is Real Is How I Feel With You. Cool. Let's do it. Let's go. Katana and Protector. There you go. There you go. Wow. Yeah, this is quite different, eh? That was amazing. I loved the sound of that. Oh, and that filtering and the way it kind of goes around. Very, very cool. Cool, not cold. Dramatic pause noted.
All alone in a crowd, we are bound to be free in the sounds. As the music just surrounds me, I lose my sense of what is real. What is real is how I feel with you.
Man, This is special, man. This is cool.
How I feel.
That was fantastic. I've just realized. Yeah, no, they were good. So this was What Is Real Is How I Feel With You. I really enjoyed it. It reminds me of like a lot of the electronic music from like the early 2010s with that kind of boom, 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 boom. I'm assuming IDM. Does IDM mean like industrial dance music? Is that what that means? I get that. It kind of sounds sort of cyberpunkish, right? I think that the way we are working things out with the like the story is about trying to figure out what's real and what's not and trying to sort of ascertain that. Intelligent dance music. Okay. Intelligent dance music. That's cool. I've never heard of that, but that's intriguing. The vocal performance having like a mixture of the sort of like vocoderish stuff with the more sort of like organic parts are great. Are great. I appreciate the mix up of it. When you had that kind of like less filtered part, it made it sort of seem like, hey, this is the real part. This is us genuinely asking these questions. That's cool. I dig it. I dig it. And thank you for the explanation on the intelligent dance music part. I get it. So basically it's about music that isn't sort of like oriented around yeah, I get it. So it's more sort of like about just providing experience rather than trying to get people to sort of dance along to it. That's the kind of thing there. It's kind of like an equivalent to progressive metal as opposed to like progressive rock as opposed to rock, if that makes sense. Yeah. Cool. I think I like the sound of the vocals, and I thought the notes we chose are really great in the parts we had them. I don't think we overcomplicated those. We let the synths and a lot of the other elements do a lot of the work that we needed it to. So like lots of love for that. Lots of love for that. The track at 3 minutes 36 is fantastic. It really is a journey with some dedicated specific styles that we're going for. As you mentioned, we had the kind of the more sort of bass heavy gritty stuff at the start, mixed in with the synthwave elements there in the middle, which again is like something I've noticed from other tracks as well, as we do seem to like to have our synth kind of moody ambient parts in the middle and then go back into a kind of like a more kind of heavier kind of thuddish thing at the end often. And I think that just, it fills out a 3.5 minute track really neatly. It encourages you to listen to more of it because you don't know what you're going to get next. I imagine that if you had people DJing it, it would actually kind of be really helpful music to have in a mix because it wouldn't be the same thing. You could go between styles with this kind of stuff, which I think would be kind of dope. It'd be really cool if you could do that. We almost have sort of like orchestral cinematic elements with the way those synth pads move around the center there, the filtered kicks and basses and drums and stuff like that. It's a common thing with Katana and Protector where like you think you have the idea of the song, the understanding of it, and then you kind of listen to it and you hear more. I suppose to surmise, you would need more than just you need more than one listen to get all the different intricacies of a track like this. And I like that a lot, that there's a lot of depth to it and that there are multiple layers. I think that on an initial listen, though, the quarter note accents with the kicks and the bass kind of carving things out and allowing space around it are fantastic. The mid to high range synth melodies and sequences that we had were also a great foil to that. I like the fact that in the builds we didn't just have one riser. We allowed the filter or the kicks to come up with it and create more of a kind of a whole or bigger overall impression. Like we weren't trying to make it a catchy track necessarily, even though I do think there was a lot of catchiness to it. We were more sort of trying to go, yeah. Do you know what do you know what I mean? I feel like
With you.
of course, and we had the guitars in a later stage here as well. So those guitar solos were interesting, or the lead parts, because they were sidechained by the kick. And it kind of pushes it in almost like they're aware that maybe that we were even wondering if that guitar is real. I just like the elegance of the lead in that later stage there, notched in the mids to highs there. It's just it's a nice change of pace effectively, and it makes the most of the slowdown of things in the halftime. Yeah, like that's incredibly complicated to like explain what is going on there. Again, with this kind of music, often it is simply about having 2 to 3, maybe even 4 different synths working in tandem with not another, kind of taking their bits and parts there, kind of moving between stereo field or different parts of the frequency spectrum to create kind of what a piano does on 1, but a synth does with 4. And that's the best I can sort of explain this type of genre or style of music. I think that it's very creative and it's fun. There's no issues in regards to the actual musicality of it. We adhere to the fundamentals of music theory and composition. There's dynamic range to this. It changes in intensity, which are welcome. The theme overall, especially when we're wondering what is real, that kind of mistiness that comes with those synth pads infers that we have maybe come down from the high that we're on, and we're sort of sitting there kind of absorbing and recalibrating, which is kind of cool. And just when you bring it past that, with a minor feel to it most of the time, there are some majors, but you kind of get a feeling in those main first and last drops that it is more of kind of like more of a kind of an urgent thing to figure out that kind of what is real as well as not. Just the studio recording, mixing, and mastering, as per the other tracks from Katana and Protector, are top notch, and I've got nothing but love for how they handled it. I'm not being nice because I feel like I have to. It's because I listen to this and I think there is some stuff here that I don't really hear often. And I wish that people who do electronic music would try and do more of this. But everyone's different. That's the beauty of creativity and independence in music. Everyone's got their own vibe and style. I like this one. And no complaints at all about studio production. I feel like a lot of the comments I've had about this have been the same for previous tracks from Katana and Protector. But yeah, stereo field, frequency spectrum, dynamic range, loudness of it relative, sidechain, etc., vocal modulation, etc., all top notch. No complaints. But thank you very much. You're welcome to Aroused Pineapple. Thank you very much to everyone for coming along to this live stream. Hopefully this was good. We had some interesting tracks come through today from Jerry Huang, Testimony of Apocalypse with Nick P, Katana and Protector, Ty Havard, Jacob Good, Cromino, and Katana Protector again. Hopefully you guys have a fantastic couple of days. I'll be back in 2 to do more reviews. Remember, if you are a patron, feel free to put through your requests for December and I'll get them done. Depending on how things go this month, I may also do a bigger live stream like I did a year or 2 ago. It just really depends on what we do with the house. Because we're still figuring out whether we're going to be able to get a house or not. If we do, I'm probably going to want to celebrate. But that's something I'll talk about when it happens, because clearly talking about it before it happens is probably not helpful. But anyways, thank you for coming along. Please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next live stream or session. Spiderhands out. 3, 2, 1.